What's up, familia? Dayspring here, and we have a very special episode of Power of X-Men. I have been obsessed with our guests for, I want to say a lot of years at this point. I was going to say decades, but I don't think you've been doing this for decades. We have an incredible Marvel Legends customizer. You've undoubtedly seen his work online because there's no mistaking he has a signature style that just elevates the look of Legends. We have Phoenix Force Creations on the podcast today.
Hello, guys.
Oh my God, Mike, I cannot believe I am
Finally.
Okay, can I tell you that for years I have seen your customs online. Everyone always sends them to me. Even people who don't follow X-Men, who don't collect Marvel Legends, they'll be like, oh, I saw this online and I thought of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored.
So how long have you been customizing Marvel Legends?
Okay, it's a very long time. An old guy, you know. I
You don't
started.
look old at all.
I started customizing when I was in high school. I think I was about 15 or 16. I'm reading these Wizard magazines and Toy Fair.
I used to
So,
work there.
oh wow. So I'm collecting the Toy Biz ones, the 5 inch before. So they lack the female characters that we love. So they got Storm, they got her, but there's no Jean Grey. So okay, I need to make a Jean Grey to complete my team. So I bought an Invisible Woman. I don't know the materials before, so I just use hardware materials, animal paints, and experimented on it. And then I'm reading Wizard magazine, and I saw that people do this customizing. So I just read, oh, they use putty, they use paint. So I don't know where to buy them, so I just bought from the hardware, and I think I was happy with my first one, but I lost it already.
Wait, what was the first? So it was Jean, but what iteration of Jean? Was it her 90s costume?
It was the 90s costume because of the animated series. So I had the other guys from the Toy Biz line in the animated series, just Jean Grey lacking. They had Phoenix before, but she's hard to find back then.
So it's so funny when I remember when Phoenix came out on the Toy Biz line, I was looking everywhere for her and I found her at KB Toys and I made them put one of her behind the counter and
That's what you
that's the
always
only way.
do.
Yeah, that was the only way you were able to get it, and I had to go rushing in, and I'd be like, "Honey, you have a Jean Grey Phoenix for me?" Like it was.
Yeah, when I don't have money yet, and I saw this, I'm gonna put it behind the other figures, and maybe
What?
ask the staff keep it for me for a while.
Or my favorite was when you go up to them like, "Do you have any in the back?" And you would make the staff go in the back.
Yeah.
But I love that era of collecting because there was a discoverability at that time because you did have to read Wizard magazine. You had to read Toy
Yeah,
Fair. It's not like the internet now where we have PulseCon and you get the information there. You
yes,
actually
very
had to wait.
fast.
You had to wait a month to get that issue of Wizard or Toy Fair and look in the sections where they were announcing figures.
Yeah, they're announcing the upcoming figures, and then they also have the price lists, the
Yeah.
rarity,
Can
and
I?
they also feature customs.
Yeah, they did feature a
That's
lot
where
of
I got
great
my
custom.
inspiration.
Did you wait? I want to ask because I discovered the She-Force wave where we would get that figure of Jean Grey. That was Domino, but repainted in the 90s.
Yeah, they do a lot of that Redeco.
Yeah. How
Just a
did you feel
Redeco to
about
another.
that?
Yeah, I didn't like it so much because they could have just made a new figure, but they just keep repeating. It feels the same. So it's like a custom, but since it's a toy company, I was expecting they're gonna create something that's really for the character instead of just repainting it. Because when you put it together, they look the same. They're like sisters in just different outfits.
They do. They're like it's the real Madeline and Jean. That's it's Domino and
And
Jean.
the problem with the dummy because she has this strap, so it's
Yeah.
not very accurate. Unlike if you use a plain body,
Yeah.
the red decoration is looks better. They did it on the later parts with Electra and Invisible Woman figure too.
Yeah, we got a lot. I look back on those redecoed, repainted figures. I look at them fondly. Do you remember the Rogue slash Polaris
Oh
one?
yeah, that works. That works. I like that one. It works because they have the same type of almost the same type of outfits.
Yeah, the 90s Jean Domino figure. I remember it had even like blue missiles that you attached to her legs.
Yeah. So that was weird for Jean because
Yeah.
why would she have all this tech?
I because Jean can freaking levitate. But anyway, okay. So you wanted a Jean Grey figure, and obviously we wouldn't get one in her 90s form for a long time. Can I ask, what was it about Jean that you loved so much upon first seeing the
Okay.
X-Men? Why did you need a Jean figure? Is what why? Tell us about why she was so
But
special.
first, because I want my roster to be complete, and then you can't have when you don't have Jean Grey, it's like really lacking the she's the heart of the X-Men. She's the one who's being saved, or she's the one that's doing all the support stuff in from the cartoons. And then I started to love Jean Grey because I feel when we were teenagers, you have this feeling that you're left out or weird because she was always considered the
Yeah.
weakest in the X Men team because she's the damsel in distress, and then she became stronger on her own right. And I was able to read some comics and then saw the difference from the cartoons in the comics. In the comics, she's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read that issue where she threw Sabretooth
I
from
love that issue.
a cliff. Oh, and I realized Jean Grey is that powerful and badass. She's not like in the cartoons that faints a lot,
No,
So I kind of related. Okay, I like this one. She's my favorite because she's like a dark horse. So she started like a weak character, but she helps the team. She supports the team, and then she became stronger and more powerful. And then uh it started from there. So history. Since Jean Grey is a rare figure to find back then, so it became a challenge for me. So I'm gonna do custom Jean Greys, and then whenever there's a Jean Grey figure, I have to get her because she's a rare find. Something like that.
so I love everything you said because that's the reason why I love Jean. In fact, I'm gonna sound like a crazy Jean stan. I hate it when people make fun that she fainted so much in the animated show because that wasn't an accurate representation of Jean, and also not
Totally
really
not.
not great for female representation, by the way. I mean, you have Storm and Rogue on it, so I will give the series that, of course. But my one
Yeah.
thing that's always irritated me is that people love to make fun of her fainting. I'm like, no, so I
She made
agree.
her. They made her like the. We have to have a damsel in distress that Cyclops and Wolverine fights about. It's really bad representation for her.
Yeah, no, what? Thank you, thank you for being my Jean Grey twin. Thank you so much. I'll be Domino and you can be Jean in terms of figures.
Yeah.
But one of the things that just I think when I look back on that time is that I did not I until we got to the Phoenix Saga, I wasn't exactly wild about how she was represented. But reading the comic books and finding out about the Phoenix, about Madeline and her story, that's what ignited my passion for her. So my next question for you is there a specific comic of Jean that drew you to her that you love so much?
Oh, okay. There's a lot. There's a lot.
That's my Oprah question.
There's a lot. So, but I took the pseudonym Phoenix Force Creations when I was playing HeroClix. And Jean Grey and the Phoenix, she was, I think she was dead at that time already. She died from the Morrison run, right? And
Yeah.
then I read this arc, Phoenix and Song.
Oh,
So I
we
really
we
love
love
that
Phoenix
arc.
and Song here.
I really love that arc, and then it went to Here Comes Tomorrow, which
Yeah.
is so much more eye-opening for me about the White Hot Room, and that
Yeah.
Jean Grey and Phoenix are one, and that she's that powerful, and that she can do these things like a
Yeah.
goddess. So that's where I'm more solidified as a Jean Grey Phoenix fan.
We are truly Jean Grey twins because first of all, Here Comes Tomorrow is probably one of my favorite X-Men stories, period. But one of my favorite Jean Grey stories. And then the fact that we get Phoenix Endsong afterwards, where she comes back to Earth and she realizes she has to then go back to the White. Oh, it's so beautiful. We talk about Here Comes Tomorrow and Phoenix Endsong all the time on this podcast.
Oh yeah, and they also released the handbook, Phoenix Force handbook, and then all the details are there, like White Phoenix and then Hope, and then they really put a lot of details on Jean as a White Phoenix, as is the strongest
Yeah.
uh form, like the strongest avatar host connect. I mean combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and back then, I believe that there's a Jean Grey always in the White Hot Room, in the nexus of realities, outside of every reality there is.
I
So,
love
she's
that.
always there. So,
She's
and then
always
if
there
there's a
waiting for herself to arrive.
yes, and if there's a Jean Grey in different lives, just like her physical manifestation in that timeline or that world, but she's always there. It
She's
could she'll be she could be the one who gave herself the phoenix power in the first place
I
because
love
she's
that.
always there.
So Mike, you make the most sense to me right now because I'm like one of my big things right now is that Jean was in the White Hot Room and now she's back on Earth and she doesn't talk about her time on the White Hot Room, nor does it seem like she remembers it. But in Morrison's new X-Men, they specifically wrote, "You're always in the White Hot Room waiting for yourself to arrive." So the fact that Jean has transcended time and space is in the White Hot Room as White Phoenix, but then there is a Jean on Earth who can, get reborn. I love that. And they're one and the same because that is just one of the Phoenix mysteries out there. You have made my morning. I want you on the podcast like every day going forward.
Yeah, the every Jean Grey issue. I'd
Every
love to.
Yeah. Well, we will happily. I think once the series is over, and I think once the series is over, let's have you back so we can have like a retrospective look on it. But okay, so pulling the thread of you customizing that first figure. So you ended up collecting the 5-inch figures from Toy Biz. Did you ever take a break from collecting figures until Marvel Legends? Like, did you just go
Yeah, I did.
from, yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, I did when I was in college. So I think the Toy Biz line is starting to die down,
Yeah.
the 5-inch ones, and then there was when the first line was introduced, the Marvel Legends, it was only Thor, the basic Marvel characters, Thor,
Toad,
Captain
yeah.
America, and Elektra. So until 2004, I think, uh, I was working in a hobby shop, and then someone I was painting miniatures, and then someone discovered me to be he became my client to do miniatures of HeroClix, custom HeroClix, and then he asked if I can convert this Electra action figure into Psylocke. So he really liked it, and then it started there. I'm doing a lot of customs for him from that Toy Biz female Marvel Legends line because a lot of female characters haven't been produced in that Toy Biz Marvel Legends line. So I'm doing it for him, and I think he was selling it somewhere. I don't know. So there was a time I wasn't collecting back then, not yet. Until there were more characters like Storm. Who was it?
Storm,
Uh,
Iceman.
Storm, Kitty Pryde. I think it was when there was the Astonishing X-Men was complete.
Okay, so around
I think.
2006, because we got Kitty Pryde for us here in the States, we got Kitty Pryde via the Walmart wave, and that was her astonishing. And then we got Iceman and Storm in Series 7, I believe, of Marvel Legends Toy Biz. So we,
Yeah,
we,
and
we
then
probably have a very different distribution schedule, though.
yeah, I think. So I'm just buying a few that I like, and then when okay, here, when Hasbro was starting to take over, they produced the Last Stand one. It looks bad, but I know I can fix it, so I was excited to have it.
Oh,
So I bought it,
the Jean
and
Grey
then
Last Stand one, right? The Jean Grey.
the Last Stand one, the sculpt is good, really. It's actually good. The sculpt is good. It's just that the paint of the face, it's like, the eyebrows are too high, something like that. So, but I was able to fix it, so it's not a problem for me. And then there was this Emma who's really thin.
Oh, we
So
know that, Emma. Trust. We have discussed that Emma
she's
to death.
the last piece for the astonishing team. And then I made the custom of that to change the head.
Yeah.
So we displayed it in a convention. So from then I got excited to buy the other X-Men.
Mhm.
And then I started also buying the other movie figures like the Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, the 2000s Marvel movies figures because I
I
like those.
love that Fantastic Four. I don't
Uh,
care what anyone says. I love Jessica Alba as Invisible Woman. I don't care what anyone
yeah,
says. I will die on that hill.
I like her too. Yeah. Uh, Too bad they
Listen.
didn't have the third movie. And then I got the others like Tobey Maguire, etc., etc. And then
Yeah.
I think I had the hiatus again because was more concentrating on HeroClix. And then after I had those movie figures, so I was concentrating on HeroClix, and then until 2011, 2010, it's the rise of the Marvel Universe line, the 4-inch
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like the replacement for Marvel Legends for a time.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
you're
bought
absolutely right. Thank you for remembering. People forget we lost Legends for a while, and then we had the
yeah,
return of Marvel Legends, but we had the
I,
Marvel Universe line in the interim.
yeah. And what got me to the Marvel Universe line is when they released the 2-pack of Cyclops and Dark Phoenix. It's always Dark
Yes,
Phoenix. It's
yes.
always Phoenix that jump starts me into buying into buying toys again. So when I bought them, I mean, this is a customizable body because it's plain and you just change the accessory. So uh, I bought a Miss Marvel, made it into a white Phoenix, and then when there are more coming out, I and they're cheaper at the time, so like less than $20, like maybe $12, something like that. So
Yeah,
I
well,
bought
they're
a
not
lot,
like
and
that
every time
anymore.
there's yeah, it's like 25 now, something. So when there's new characters coming out, I buy and buy all of them. So I have more of these Marvel Universe line because they're easy to play with. They're small, easy to store, easier to customize, and then you could create dioramas for them. So I was able to make a lot of customs from those, and then I was displaying them in a convention. I made the I think this is something of how
Wait,
small it is.
wait, let me spotlight this. Hang on, let me spotlight this. Boom. Okay. Oh my God. Wow, that you're so talented.
She's just
It
missing her stash.
she's just but is that a Famka face? Did you give her a Famka
Yeah,
face?
I tried. I tried to copy.
I love how you're like, I
You know.
tried and it looks identical to Famka. No,
Oh,
not at
thank you.
all. You're so, I mean, Mike, we're gonna get into it a little bit more too, but you're so talented. I love it. It just, oh,
Okay. So from the Marvel universe, so it was dying again because there are already more characters out, and then there's the return of Marvel Legends. So they started again with Thor, and
oh,
then I think it was 2014 when Jean Grey was released.
yeah, the Rocket Raccoon wave. It was
Yeah,
2014
and I
around
was
there.
excited again. Okay, there's a new Jean Grey.
Yeah,
So
in
I
her
had to buy
90s,
it
in her
in her
90s,
90s. And therefore I bought her again, and then I got excited to return to Marvel Legends as well. Yeah, because the molds were starting to get better at that time.
yeah,
So
they were. Although she kind of has like a blank face, that Jean Grey kind of has like a blank face.
yeah, that wasn't a problem for me anymore back then because okay, I can fix this. So I had a few. makeovers that I did for that figure with the
And you were
face.
posting it online. You were posting that on Facebook, right?
Yes,
Because
Facebook.
I remember my husband showed me, they were like, "Oh, look at this guy who was able to redo Gene's face." Because I was talking about the face, and I believe that's the first time I came across your work was for that Rocket
Oh, thank
Raccoon
you.
Gene, if I'm
I also
remembering it
made
correctly.
the yeah. I also made the ponytail version of that head
Hmm.
for a client, and yeah. So I waited for the others like year after year. Who was the next one? I think it was Wolverine,
Yeah,
and then Rogue and Cyclops,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
Beast, Jubilee, Gambit.
yeah.
I think the
No,
last ones were Storm,
it's
Professor X.
we've had such a we're very spoiled with Legends now, but that Rocket Raccoon wave, the return of Marvel Legends with like Hope Summers, that was like the herald of everything we're getting today, which is really nice. Do you
Yeah.
do you have a favorite Marvel Legends? Like, have you ever gotten whoever the character is, have you gotten a Legends and you're like, you know what, this is so perfect, I don't have to do anything with it. I'm just gonna leave it on my shelf.
Oh, it's really hard. It's really hard.
Don't
Okay.
disrupt your collection. Don't disrupt your collection. I know them
Yeah,
enough to
yeah, I'm
know.
looking. But I always have this motto that
Yeah.
you can I can make it better. There's always room for improvement.
Okay, that's fair.
So because one of my friends late friends who challenged me like I posted my Marvel Universe collection and then he commented like, what if all of those are customized? So it I got me thinking that what if I customize all of my collection? And then when I did a lot of them and I was displaying them at conventions, and then I got really more inspired that my goal is to have a collection that are all customized and modified in a way with my personal liking. So if I have time, I will repaint at least the face and then change the hair, do some mods on the body or repaint it so that it will be unique to me from the rest of other people's collections. Because when they post it, it's the same. Like when I post, let's say I post this uncustomized ones, it's the same as theirs. So I
Yeah.
want my collection to be really different from the others. You know, if you get what I mean.
No, I do, and I have to tell you, I just I love all the figures you post. I mean, I am biased because you're my Jean Grey twin, so I'm already everything you do I naturally like, but you have such a distinct style. Could you unpack what your approach is to each
Oh, okay.
figures with the face and the hair is beautiful. I mean,
Okay,
you
okay.
everyone always talks about how beautiful your hair the hair you do is. I mean, your hair is
Oh,
beautiful
thank
too,
you.
but also but also the hair on your fingers.
Thank you. Okay, I was watching like these model shows. I'm looking at model photography, the posing, the makeup. Because when I'm painting female, I have to make it beautiful or fabulous.
Yeah.
So that includes
Fabulous is a great word.
the makeup, the posing.
Yeah.
So I studied those. I studied different. So it's not just like painting the face like, oh, improve it better. It has to have a distinct uh, what they call this character to it. Like it has a unique look to it that's not plain or like common. So it needs to bring some slay thing,
It,
it
it,
needs to slay.
it needs a
So
yassified, yeah, it needs to
it,
slay.
yeah, something like that. It has to have this particular look that
Yeah.
Vogue look like I'm beautiful or like this is fashion, something like
Yeah.
that. So I want my figures to have the evoke that look that like it's a fashion magazine photo shoot or something that they are really gorgeous. So it's not always red lips. It's not always the same eyeshadow or contour for the face. It has to have character. Like if it's Rogue, it has to have a different makeup. It's Storm, it has to have a different makeup that should match their outfits. Like let's say Savage Land Rogue is has a different makeup to Picnic Rogue.
Yeah. No,
Or Dark Phoenix should have a different makeup than White Phoenix. Dark Phoenix should have less very vixen, salty, evil face, but still beautiful, like an evil queen, something like that. But if it's White Phoenix, it should be like a divine, very awe-inspiring look of a goddess that's not evil looking at all.
God, you
Something like
just
that.
said
If
it
it's
so much.
Green Phoenix, it's like a pretty, charming, like a gentle look to her face. So
Yeah.
I wanted to have their faces with a distinction, and the hair would like bring the character or the it's like giving more life to it. It's like I want the hairs on my action figures to have like more action,
Yeah, more
especially the comic
fluidity.
more it's like when they're moving the hair is always flowing like in the comics if they're in action the hair always flows beautifully so it's like expressing my heart's desires or something like dancing something like that my mind is dancing so my hair are dancing too something like that it's hard
But
to explain.
no, no, no. I get it 100%. I'm looking at photos as you were talking. I was looking at the photos online that I have saved. I have a folder dedicated to you on my Dropbox. And
Oh, thank you.
I see the differences between, I mean, Jean, Dark Phoenix, White Phoenix, Green Phoenix. She's very somber. But what I love about what you just said, and I think it's the reason why your customs speak so much. I mean, me from the ashes, we love your work so much. Other people always DM me your work. And I think it's because of what you were just saying right now, which is you're manifesting your heart's desire, your love for the character, for how it is. And that is so apparent in all the customs you do from Hope to your morph figure, right? You've done a morph and it looks
Yeah.
you understand the characters. So you're not just customizing, you're not just putting a figure together, you're really thinking about the character, what makes sense for the characters and what excites you for the character. And that is why you have been doing this since the Rocket Raccoon wave with Marvel Legends. Um, and why we are here today talking about it. It's just next level.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I can't stop gushing over you. Okay,
Yeah.
so I have to ask because you put so much time and effort. Have you ever done official work for Hasbro or any of the Marvel lines? Have people ever reached out to you and been like, "Wow, your work is next level. Can we have you as a
Oh,
consultant?"
yeah. Before, it was in the HeroClix line.
Yeah,
I did master paints for them, but right now I think Hasbro is looking more for the 3D sculptors. So
gotcha.
that's I'm not into that yet, but I'm gonna study it soon. So right now I really love the traditional way of doing things like sculpting it by hand, sculpting the hair by hand, painting them by hand. So it gives me sort of a challenge. But eventually I will learn 3D sculpting, and who knows, maybe they'll approach me
Wait, is that
eventually.
I don't know how figures are. I should know this, but I don't know how figures are made or how they have been made historically.
Recently, recently, I follow a few accounts that they're doing 3D sculpts for the Hasbro, and I just suspect that they get inspiration from many customizers because the hair is evolving, the face is evolving.
There are some hairs
The
out there
action
right now
figures,
that
I
look a
know.
lot. They look
I'm not
suspiciously.
claiming it's from me because there are a lot of other customizers that does the same thing as me, like Christina Cruz, Mass Custom Figures, and many more. They're really good. So I think Hasbro's taking notes from customizer, and they don't even have to pay them. They just get these ideas and then ask someone who can 3D, can you do this? I think they get they pay cheaper by that way.
Interesting, interesting. So the way that the industry has moved has all I know about 3D rendering, I guess. I've never really thought about it, but so they 3D render and then what, it gets printed on a 3D printer? Is that how it happens?
They have a 3D rendering, and then I think they have machines that prints the parts, and then
Gotcha.
their prints the parts. I think the articulation is also by computer. So they have a 3D
Wow.
of the body, and then they have a program to put the joints there. So it
Okay.
will be separated, and then each part will be printed, and then there's an assembly line. I think before the assembly, there's the paint first, and then the faces are digitally printed as well.
Yeah.
Now the faces, recent faces are like it's the astonishing Cyclops and Emma Wave. All of the faces are good. The new Black Widow. It's like stickers, but they're printed on it. So the disadvantage is that when you look closer, they're like dots.
Wow.
But
Interesting.
they look good from afar
Yeah. I
compared
wow.
to the Rocket Raccoon Wave where the eyes are like fish eyes and they're here and here.
Yes, Misty Knight. We just talked about it with Misty Knights. That Misty Knight figure we got. Her eyes are everywhere, and it's like, no.
Yeah, I also fixed a lot of Misty Nights back then.
I should have hit you up for the Misty Knights. Okay, I'm going to ask you a lightning round of some Jean Grey questions. Are you
Okay,
ready? Okay.
okay.
All right, are you ready? Cyclops with Jean or Cyclops with Emma?
Cyclops with Jean.
Ah, yes. Okay. I'm a big fan of Cyclops with Emma because I love Jean in
I
the
was
White
a
Hawk.
fan too. Yeah, I like their dynamic. But if Jean is back, Cyclops should be with Jean.
That's fair. You know what? That is a very fair argument. Okay. Sophie Turner or Famke Johnson?
Pamke all the way.
I know. No shade to Sansa because I don't think Sophie Turner did a bad job. I just don't think it was a particularly good script for her. And I
And
feel
I
bad.
also think that we didn't have enough time to connect or invest feelings to her as Jean Grey. Unlike with Famke, uh, during our younger days, she's the Jean Grey we saw in the live action, and then she had a lot of more movies that we were able to connect to her character or to her playing the role. And then, but I also like her style of portraying Jean Grey. It's like very natural, very subtle. Like she's a really good actress. Like she portrays her without overacting or very, a very expressive, but you kind of feel or connect just with her facial expressions alone, like with her eyes or how she's react without speaking. And then even her last stand uh, portrayal is really good. It's like she doesn't even need to move a finger to to do some terrible damage with her power, and then her face. But you see the raw energy from her face without her speaking a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw her first from the James Bond, the Golden Eye, I
Love
think.
her in yes, 100%.
I love how she's like this sultry uh vamp. Is that what you call her? It's a sultry vixen. It's like
Yeah.
she has this sexiness about her that is badass. And then like the femme fatale that she could kill you but with style. Something like
Yes.
that.
Oh, 100%.
And
Okay.
then her portrayal of Ginger, she's really good. It's like she went into this gentle thing. Oh, she can do the Dark Phoenix because she's a really good actress
Oh,
doing the gentle version and then the dark version. Okay.
she in Last Stand was absolutely wonderful. I mean, she's the only good thing about the Last
Yeah.
Stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Age of Apocalypse Gene or Ultimate Gene?
Hmm. Hmm. I think I like Age of Apocalypse G.
Yeah.
I think because he's much more stronger and much more mature with how she thinks with the war, and because there's a war, right?
Yeah.
And she's more like battle ready, and she's like a seasoned X-Men veteran or soldier in that time, in that reality. Unlike with the Ultimates, they were young teens. Not so didn't mature much into like to have more experience.
Yeah. I
I
like
think.
that. I love that. No, I think that response is perfect. I think Age of Apocalypse Jean is more war weary, and Ultimate Jean is still discovering herself. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, she
yeah.
certainly has a huge old arc. I haven't been. Have you been reading Ultimate Invasion? I started reading it and then I fell asleep, so I don't even
Not
know what's
yet.
going. I don't even know what's going on with the Ultimate Universe. I I guess it's back. I wonder if we'll see Gene again. They're doing Ultimate Spider-Man. Hickman's doing it, but that's fun. Okay, what are your feels on Madeline Pryor? How much do you love? Do you love Madeline Pryor? Are you happy she's back? What are your feels on her?
Okay, I'm happy she's back because she deserves her own personality. Like I mean, her own character by herself, not just the clone of Jean Grey. But
One hundred
I'm
percent.
still
Oh, I
not
love everything you
sure
say.
uh, if her character is lovable or because she's like an anti-hero now, right?
Yeah,
So she's like lover hater, like that. So she
yeah.
still has this insane qualities like uh unstable mental state, something
Unpredictable.
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
unpredictable. I mean,
unpredictable.
here's the thing. She had no idea that she was a clone, and then she finds out she's a clone. Then she dies, and then she's hanging around with Nate Gray for a while, and then she becomes like a psychic ghost thing. Then she comes back again, is killed, and now is brought back. I mean, it will fuck up anyone. But
And I like throwing the baby out, something like that.
oh,
This
listen, that's
woman is
iconic.
evil. This
I love
evil.
how
But
unapologetically evil she is.
I would like to give her a chance.
Yeah,
I'm glad she's back. I'm glad they resurrected her to be her own woman.
yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the development of her character.
So the thing that we were talking with Steve Fox from who's writing Dark X-Men. We spoke to him a couple of days ago. One of the things that I loved that he said was that we are developing Madeline. We have stories of her already where she's lost her power, that she's gone bad. We're not going to do those stories anymore. We're going to focus on building Madeline and looking towards the future of like the strong, powerful, and passionate character that she is. And I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see where she's going to land in the Krakoan age. Okay.
Mhm. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do you think Madeline Pryor and Nate Gray are soulmates? There's only one
I'm not
answer.
sure.
No,
It's
Mike, no. There's only one answer. How could you?
I'm really not sure. It's so weird in the first
No,
place
it's not. There's nothing weird about it.
because Nate is Jean's son, right?
Oh, technically, Nate is not supposed to be an alternate reality version of Cable. Technically, Nate is his own character, and Jean and Cyclops from the Age of Apocalypse, he is a byproduct of their genetic material. Cable is the son of Madeline and Cyclops. And
All
Madeline
right.
and his mom, how can I explain that? I always fumble when I'm trying to explain this out loud. So his mom, Jean, Age of Apocalypse, Madeline is an alternate universe clone of his mom. In what weird way does that make it incest? In what weird way,
Ah.
Mike? What weird way?
All right. Their blood type.
Touche, touche. Okay. So when Jean died, we got Rachel. When Jean died the original time, we got Rachel. When Jean died the second time, we got Hope Summers. Rachel Summers or Hope Summers, which is a better character?
Rachel.
Okay.
Rachel.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Rachel because she has more experience.
Mm-hmm.
She's been through the toughest times of war for a
Mm-hmm.
very long time, and then she traveled back to the present. and she had to deal with her mother not accepting her at first. And then the Phoenix gave her enough control for the power of the Force, and then she was able to handle it.
Yeah, she was.
So with Hope, she still has a more way to go.
Yeah.
But I like her. I like Hope, but I like Rachel better if comparing the two of them, because Rachel has more depth for now. She has more experience. She has lived more challenges in her life compared to Hope there.
I
But I
agree.
like Hope. I think there's more to discover about Hope yet.
I agree with you. And I think a lot of readers like Hope now, but there were years where we didn't know what was going on with Hope, that she seemed a little wayward after AVX. They kind of like after AVX she was
Yeah,
kind of forgotten about for a little bit, and
put it for
now
the sideline. Yeah, because
now she has a great story.
yeah, before when I one of my favorites was Second Coming, and then everyone thought she's a reincarnation of Jean Grey, and then
Oh, we've
or
talked
she's a
about that.
daughter, a Phoenix daughter of Jean Grey. Something I still believe that though, because there was no father, right?
No, there was no. Baby Spalding has an unnamed father. You're right. It has
She's
not been
like
revealed.
she's like a Phoenix Force manifested baby, I think.
Yeah.
So
That
it's like in Christianism, like
yeah.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, something like
Yeah,
that. I
Immaculate
think
Conception.
that's
Agree. Agree.
yeah,
That was I think that was your that's never they've never named a father for Hope, and it was heavily implied when they revealed that her mom was a firefighter with the last name Spalding, that she just turned up pregnant one day. So we've never dove deep into that. I wish they would. Originally, we've talked about this before on the podcast. Hope was supposed to be Jean. Editorially, she was supposed to be Jean, and then somehow during Second Coming and AVX, that era, they decided not to go that route. They changed directions, and she became her own character, which it
yes,
works. I'm happy they did, because I do like Hope as her own character now.
yeah.
Right now I think the character is really great, but okay,
And also, I think that it's really hard to replace Jean Grey ever.
ever.
Because if they tried that with Madeline, with Rachel, and now with
Yeah.
Hope, it doesn't work. You really have to put the real Jean Grey back.
Even Teen Jean, even though she was
Yeah,
technically the
even
real
Teen
Jean.
Jean, even the future Teen Jean, the one with the Zorn
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
even
Zornetta.
the AOA Jean that was
Okay.
short hair and then became powerless.
Yeah. They've tried to. I always talk about Jean, our Jean, real Jean was dead for years, but they kept bringing in alternate versions of Jean, and she was at the
It's
heart of
like,
so many
here's your
stories.
Jean. It's like teasing the fans. Oh, here's a
Yeah.
Jean Grey.
Yeah,
Here,
we
but
want
it's
the
not the
real
real
one.
one.
I thank you for remembering history how it was, because a lot of people forget that. They teased us that Hope was Jean until they didn't. Then we got Age of Apocalypse Jean. Then we got Zornetta. And then we got Teen Jean. Well, Teen Jean and Zornetta were at the same time, but you know what I'm saying. And then finally we got our real Jean back. But it's like, damn, our Jean was gone for a long time. But okay.
Yeah.
So wait, any customs that you're working on right now that you can give
Okay,
us?
yes. I just finished this last night.
I
It's the
know.
Hellfire Gala Jean in Famka's likeness.
I know
Okay.
you sent this
Uh,
to me, and you sent it
this
as a
is
bomb.
this
You were so
is
smart to do that, because
a
I couldn't
couple of years.
screenshot.
Yes, this is a couple of years in the making because it's really hard to find time to make customs for myself now because I'm doing the work for the other people. Okay. So here I put a lot of thought and effort to it.
Hang on, let me
I
pin. Let me
hope
pin.
I make Mr. Russell Dotterman proud to have made his design
Oh,
for this.
Mike, that's
I sent you a
gorgeous.
picture. Okay, I'll send you a picture later so you can maybe post it
Oh
in
yeah,
your edit.
100%. Oh my
Okay.
God, yes.
So here's the back, and then that's how
Oh
long the
my
trail is.
God. How long did it take you to make this?
Years. I think it's a couple of years. Because
You must.
when I have small time, I just work some progress to it and then leave it.
It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, Mike. Mike, that's gorgeous. That's stunning. Look at her. So
Thank
regal.
you.
And we're reminded that Famke just is an incarnation of Jean. It's 100%.
Yes, her face, like the eyebrows. I almost memorized her face already, like the jawline, the lips, the eyes.
You need to
So
write her. Famke will love that.
whenever I repaint a Jean Grey figure, I have to make it look a little bit like her to as much as I can.
Yeah, well,
And
I
I
think she's
also
the
have
embodiment of Jean.
oh, thank you.
Let's see.
I'm also doing another project for Calvin. This is for Calvin.
Oh,
Can you
yes.
guess?
Oh my gosh. And we love Calvin. That's Calvin from the Ashes Familia, who has a
Yes.
wonderful Instagram account. Wait, let me pin that. Oh my gosh. It's so, if you're just listening to this episode, it's this year's Hellfire Gala, Jean, with her high pony and her freaking beautiful. This is my favorite Hellfire Gala look for
Okay.
Jean.
I'm gonna also make that with a Famke face for my own collection eventually. So this is a difficult and very challenging one because I'm gonna have to put the glitters on her outfit and then the wired long pants. So there, the hair is movable though.
I
I'm still
love the
not finished
movable
with the
hair.
hair. So when you put the head,
Yeah.
you'll be able to
You
change the
caught it
position of
though.
the hair.
You got how it moves in the comics, like the fluidity of how her hair and the high pony moves.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it looks
Yeah,
so good. How long has it taken you to do this one?
uh, this one, let's say if I focus my time on a single figure, like this one, straight, including the drying hours, could take a week.
Wow, a week? Sorry, my voice
A
cracked there.
week,
A week?
a week, given that I have time to rest and do
Yeah,
other stuff.
yeah.
So there, a week.
That that's a really quick turnaround.
Mhm. So because first you plan, let's say I'm gonna do this. There's a sketch. I'm gonna do this character. I have to brainstorm and plan how I'm gonna pull it off, what parts I need, uh, am I gonna do the hair, how am I gonna do the spikes. So it's a lot of mental
Mental preparation.
brainstorming. Okay, so first you have your body parts, you put them together, and then you clean the joints. So when you paint it or when it's painted, it doesn't rub the paint off with the friction of movement and posing. So I have to clean the joints, cut them and trim them, sand them, and then check for the proportions of what do you need to add, I need to lessen. You know the shape of the body, the hourglass, the boobs, the hips, the waist, the arms, and then how I'm gonna put the elements of her outfit, like the spikes, that
Mhm.
will still allow some sort of movement, and then how I'm gonna put the fabrics or the hair. So the hair is one of the major processes of my customization. So how I'm gonna put the hair, or how am I gonna start with making a hair of this design? So I'm gonna think what's inside of that hair. I'm imagining like a real hair or a wig. And then I'm imagining which the longest part. So I'm gonna sculpt that first as the base, and then I'm gonna add the other elements that goes around it, the other strands. So I do it strand by strand until I get to the top.
Yeah.
So that's for the ponytail. But if it's laid down here, I start from the back,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna go to the sides until to the top and do the hairline. It's like putting extensions on a wig or a person.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Mike, I have to tell you, the entire thought process you put in these customs, it's so refreshing to hear. Your passion comes through. Can I ask, if someone wanted to do a custom, how do they go about it? Do they just DM you on Instagram or do they DM you on your Facebook page? How can folks
Okay,
who want a custom reach out to you for it?
Okay, Instagram mostly because I'm more active on Instagram than my Facebook page or Facebook because in Facebook I don't immediately see the messages from non-friends or the
Mm.
others mail. It doesn't show up immediately. So in Instagram it's easier to reach me. So if I can check the message requests, I can reply maybe when I have time. But right now the list is really long, really long. Some have been waiting for a couple of years already. I'm so
Wow.
sorry, but I'm trying to get into them slowly to make progress, and then I always intend to bring out the best result as much as I can. So you have a very unique collection to have from me.
I love that. No, I mean, I was looking at your Instagram this morning while I was getting my coffee, and you posted one of Gambit recently, and that Gambit, his hair up like that, holding the card, the flame. It's just the effects, the passion, everything you bring to your customs is evident. So so Instagram is the best place to reach you. There's a wait list for customs, but if folks just want to see all the beautiful art you're posting, you're at Phoenix underscore force underscore creation, right? Do I have that right? Yes.
Yeah.
Phoenix
Yes.
underscore force underscore creation. And you're so receptive. Mike, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy you for you to have me
No,
finally.
I am a fanboy. As you know, I am a fan of yours. So it is the pleasure is all mine to be able to discuss with you today.